at 6:33.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Patty Sindler here.
Bonnie Gagnon. Danielle Claire.
Christine Maynard.
And review the minutes. Has everybody had a chance?
Yes.
Probably not, because they were done about an hour.
Yeah. So,
Say no.
Then a busy.
give everybody.
I got part way through.
Motion to budget.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the August 18th, 2025 meeting.
I said,
Yeah, they can prove all of
Oh, all in favor?
it. Or any discussion.
Or discussion, I guess, first. Any discussion about the meeting? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep, so, Kathy, you're up.
I don't even have an agenda.
Oh, just,
This is this one. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're like that.
you guys can introduce yourself. There's probably a few people that don't know who you guys are, you know?
So I'm Kathy O'Lemus, the business administrator for Government Network and Middleton School District.
Good evening, Caroline Erickson, Superintendent for Governor Wentworth and Middleton School District.
I was going to take Heather's lead. Honestly, I am here for questions, answers, wherever I can fill in the blanks. I just did not know.
Well, we'd
So I
like you
guess
to.
we originally asked, or when I have been asking for years now, for someone to come from the SAU to explain the budget and pretty much go through like all of the lines and what the lines mean in the breakdown. I got the packet that you sent, but really what I've been looking and asking for is the breakdown in each line to see the numbers for more transparency.
There are no breakdowns. I do everything in Excel for my worksheets, and I enter it into the system. So this total dollar amount for 1,100 salaries, regular education, which is the very first line, that is all the teachers that fit into 1,100, their salary. And if there are any support staff that are not special education, which there are not at the moment, that's the salary line for all teachers. So there's no breakdown in the system for anything.
So like, that one's basically an easy one because,
It's
So then,
It's salaries.
so then basically what I'll have to do is 9180 information out of each line.
Well, I don't have, there's no technical document. I have work papers that are my own work handwritten papers.
how do you not have a breakdown?
I think what we're looking for,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, is on the salary line, you have the budget amount is 687, 428, 61. Then we have over here the encumbrance or the balance or whatever. Well, I would suspect as we pay payroll each week or whatever, that you have a breakdown of what what makes up this balance, the 662, 903, 89, like it's made up of first grade teachers, second grade, all the way through. Because, I mean, that's like your general entry, you have a debit and a credit, and, basically, so, if we did a detail to say, okay, what
You
makes
want
up
a
this.
transaction detail.
That's what you want,
Yes.
transaction
All
detail.
right.
Yes.
For these
For,
items.
for the whole entire budget?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
be.
That's what I just, so I guess I'm frustrated because I've been asking for years and I have explained it in every which way that I could possibly explain it, and because I didn't use the correct terminology, like, it's frustrating that, I mean, for years that I've been on this budget committee.
Just so you're aware, that'll be multiple pages, and I'm not sure that the email will work because it's too large of a document, because I don't run it. I don't run one.
It doesn't exist currently, so she's going to have to create these documents. The right-to-know requests are existing documents. So she'll have, it's extra generating these reports.
So as a budget committee member, we've been asking for this. I know Bonnie and I, every month, for years that I've been on, and I've been on the budget committee for at least 4 or 5 years, have asked for like the items. My thing is this, if you want me to get behind and support a budget, I need to see where the money's going to support it. And when we get these things and we're not getting answers because we ask specific questions and they say, oh, I don't know because it's somewhere in this line, but I don't understand the breakdown or I don't understand it, it's not good enough for me. When I make a vote, I'm making a vote that is affecting every taxpayer in this town. And I can't in good conscience vote in favor for something I don't fully understand.
And I think there will still be questions. So I'm not sure that these reports will satisfy or do what we think they're going to do for answering questions. I think we will still have just as many questions with the transactional report. And that's why we're here, so we can answer whatever questions that you have.
So I'm not bright, I'm not very bright, especially about money. So you're telling me that you cannot break down this budget by where the money is actually going by each line? Or even not even each line, I mean, just the biggest lines.
So say like the supplies line, what is bought with the supplies line? What is in that?
Consumables for this, in 1,100, that's regular education, so student needs, not special education, regular education. Any of the consumables, whether it be supplies of crayons, paper, markers, paint, art supplies, PE supplies,
So-
pencils, pens.
How do you
Scissors.
know money is not being misspent if you
Because-
don't have that breakdown?
Because every purchase order goes through me and I review it to approve it.
Tracy has a question.
And how do you know?
Tracy doesn't get them. Okay. I also work in bookkeeping at a school district. I can tell you that all our 5,600 lines are supply lines, your purchase orders, you need to, a WB Mason purchase somebody's name under
Ours
ours?
does not.
Okay. I think that's what they're looking for.
Transactional history, that I can do. But like I said, it can't be electronic because it'll be too large of a document.
So that could be sent down to the MES and you can pick it up at the.
Sent down physically, it'll be hundreds of pages possibly.
So then I have 2 questions.
The first is, so obviously then you have the ability to say, you buy this many crayons and this many pencils and this
Oh,
many.
purchase orders, no.
You have to, but they're all written, they're all,
Electronic.
yeah, you have that, you can pull that up, the information up.
What
I mean, how else would you know how many crayons and pencils to buy the next year? And then the second thing is do you want a detail on every line, or is it only just like the bigger lines? Do you want to know all the lines?
I mean, honestly, at this
Salaries.
point, I'm really curious to know all of it. I would like to know as much as I can because I just feel like for so long, there hasn't been the true transparency that we wanted and that we needed.
And she just said
So
it's
I
100
would-
pages.
Yeah, so I would recommend putting it on a flash drive and then you have it electronically, and we have this nice board up here that you can all refer to and then look at it together. Because yes, it's going to be, I know the town side is,
22 pages.
400 pages?
town side, I can only imagine the school is going to be probably 5 times that or more.
You got a hand in the box?
Jim?
Oh, Jim?
So my question is, the increase to this year's school budget, right? The 2 increases. There was one that was voted on at town meeting. What was that number?
The amount of it that increase? Is it a 3-year term?
There was an increase of $292,566 made at deliberative session.
292 what?
$292,566
And the second one?
was the teachers' collective bargaining agreement that passed at the end of June was $66,507 or $607.
Isn't there a caveat on that?
They have to be a separate warrant article because it's a union contract.
Per unit?
Their contract is for 2 years, 3 years?
3
So
years.
it's 66,000
For the first year.
per year.
No, for the first year. It was
The
written
first
on the
one.
warrant article, how much it was per year.
So to pay that next year, you're gonna have another warrant article.
No.
No.
It's for 3 years. Contract.
So 66,000 isn't the number, it's,
No, it is the number, it's the number for next
For
year.
next-
And
for this
27 is going to be for 50,576, which is 2028 is going to be 60,104. Goes up and down. Well, that's just, that's what they agreed on, that's what we voted on. So the new contract won't come out until negotiated until 2029.
so it's roughly $360,000 total.
I don't have the number in front of me, sir, so I don't have to share it.
Why? It's like three fifty. So, can you tell me what that money's gonna be used for?
It's for salaries for all of the teachers plus FICA, New Hampshire retirement, which is over the regular, so it's increased cost to their salary, as well as next year it's $1,000 more to professional development, which would make it $11,000 next year for professional development. And the final year, salary increases with the FICA and the New Hampshire retirement, as well as another $1,000 for professional development, which will make it $12,000 for professional development by the end of the
So
contract.
that all adds up to $360,000 a year.
Is that 66?
I think the number is a little bit less than that from what everyone's saying.
So that increase does include FICA and all that?
It does increase the amount.
Okay.
Well, here's my question. I went to the deliberative session, okay, and there was discussion about hiring another position. Right? Do you recall that? Anybody recall
If
that?
that was a separate
The
warrant
IEP.
article for the DPC in that case, so that did not happen.
It's not going to happen this year.
No means no on a warrant article, so.
I don't remember it being a warrant article.
Yes,
It was a warrant article. It was.
Okay. And there's also been talk about making the para professionals, giving them full benefits. Is that going to happen out of this money?
That's news to me, no.
Is it news to you? Because I
We
believe
have
it
asked
was
for
you
a
that-
staffing, we've asked for a staffing assessment from the principal so that we can identify any gaps in staffing that we have. So that we're not running into a
Where is
position,
that money going to come from?
it would be budgeted into the next budget cycle and not taken right now. But what happens is, because we don't plan proactively as a board, we have paras and bus drivers and all of the non-unionized staff members coming to the board asking for pay raises. If you are proactive in that and you build that into your budget, then you don't have to have that happening every single year. So that was my request, is we need to be proactive in our planning and make sure that we build in and identify the needs. We're pulling paras from their duties to cover classrooms when there are teachers absent. And there have only been 2 days in the last, since school started, where there wasn't a teacher out. So you're pulling paras, let me finish please, you're pulling paras from their duties who are paid by special education, you're putting them now into a classroom to cover a classroom. That should not be happening, it's because we're understaffed. So we need to start looking at that to make sure that there's coverage so that these children have all of the educators that they need and that the special education children have the professionals that they need to ensure that every child has access to the free public education they are required to provide by law. Thank you.
Well, what I would suggest to you is that, first off, I'm not aware of any part-time employees that are in a collective bargaining agreement with anybody. But as soon as you make them full benefits, full-time, I'm assuming they will become part of a collective bargaining agreement. And, you might as well just put them all in there, and then that $360,000 increase would have probably had been around $600,000. And then the people in this town on a fixed income would be looking for another place to live. Okay? Adding to the housing crisis that we already had. So,
There's
I
been
don't think
no decisions
I'm
made.
I'm still perplexed by the fact that, every other budget, you can look right at it. I mean, I'm a town employee, my salary goes right in the book every year. There's no question about how much money I get paid or anything like that. Also, I would point out to you that we have all lived off COLA raises, 3% on a good year. I challenge you to tell me any teacher at that school that got a 3% raise this year, or last year, or the year before, or the year before, or the year before, and then I wasn't a town employee then. So, it's not apples to apples. I could go on about how much we pay percentage-wise for our insurance, and we don't get the sweet deal that they do either. It's time now, people are, complaining that their taxes are going up, and it's all the town employees. Well, I'll tell you this, every other department in this town is under a 2% budget cap. So if every department went up 2%, I don't think that the cost to the taxpayer would be very noticeable. The taxes are going to go up this year significantly because of those two numbers that were just quoted.
So I guess what I would like to say really is this. So we can all move on, and we can all, as board members, confidently vote and make decisions. And so the BS between the town and the school stops, and we become one. We need to start acting like one. The school needs to start acting like they are a part of the town and not above the town. It would be nice to start seeing more transparency. So like the town book with all of the information of the salaries, of all of that, it would be nice to see that. I've looked over at other towns and other school districts' websites, and you can find all of that financial information right there without having to 91A request things. I've watched other school board meetings, I've watched other budget meetings, and you ask questions and you get clear answers. And I think until that starts happening from you guys are going to start getting walls, and you're going to start getting resistance, and you're going to end up seeing warrant articles for budget caps. You're going to see warrant articles to start cutting things. And at the end of the day, when stuff like that happens, it's going to affect the ones over in the corner. And that is when you're going to see me get louder than ever. Because I do everything for that one over there. I'd rather be home right now watching television in my slippers than dealing with all this crap. But everything I do is for him. And when it starts affecting him, I will get loud. So everybody needs to start acting like they're an adult and a registered voter, and start being conscious of the decisions that we're making, and start being open to the conversation and having answers for us. We're not asking to jump down people's throats and attack, and we need to know these answers if you want us to make a decision. And that means, I don't know how many times I have to say that for you guys to get it. And it's like, when you show up to these meetings, you should have a lot of the budget answers before you come. You meet a week before us. You should anticipate certain things. Every year at the beginning of the school year, we ask for the numbers of the students. Every September, October, we start talking about preparing for the budget. It's just like Christmas. It comes on the same day every single year. It's not a surprise. So much stuff could be alleviated if everybody that comes here comes a little bit more prepared and willing to share the information.
I will pass on your feedback about what we'd like to see on the website to the public outreach committee, because I think that's good information, and I'd like to see that on the website too. I think that form of communication has been lacking, which is why we recommended having a public outreach that could really beef up that information, so there is a place where people can go that aren't having to request for the SAU or 91 yet.
So who oversees our website?
Currently, it's the SAU. Well, the SAU oversees the SAU website, and I think the principal oversees the school website.
So I guess I just don't understand why we're paying SAU services for the SAU to handle a lot of this stuff. And you do a lot of things up in Wolfboro or in Kingswood, and I honestly feel as though you shove down our throat, this is how Kingswood does it, so this is how Middleton's gonna do it. Why is our website not more mirrored to Kingswood when it comes to that transparent information?
Would you like me to respond to that?
Yeah.
So, the Middleton Elementary had a website, and it was cut from the budget. So now the school website, there is one that is attached to the Governor Wentworth website, along with all the other schools. Middleton has a page, just like all the other schools. And then Middleton SAU 69 has a website that's a free Google site. So that's how that's managed, and we manage that website. We put all the policies on there, just like Governor Wentworth. I do not ever claim to make one district like like the other districts. However, there's an organizational way to put all the policies on the website. We have those there. We post all the minutes and the agendas. We just added a new folder for all the financials so that, you know, you can look at that at any time. We can post that before the meetings. We also created a new folder for policies in process, so draft policies that are not yet approved by the board, so the community can view those as well. So it has all the legally required documents that a board needs to have to function, you know, and there are new committees that they just started last month as well.
You're aware of the law change with Student First Act, that went into effect July 1st? Have you talked to, like, the different school boards and stuff, how they're supposed to be starting to show graphs and stuff like that of, you know, what their, let's say, the list is like total schools. This is supposed to be graphs that are actually supposed to be out there for budget season.
Yes.
And that needs to be out there so that people know it needs to be posted probably at the school out there, posted at the town hall. The Melissa, I would even, we have a place to post it here because most of our people come in here, you know. It's like, but yeah, so you're aware of that. And
Yes.
have you spoke with, are you aware, Heather, of the new act that was passed in July?
No, it may not be.
I can give you a copy of that if you want.
We have to comply with them.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Sorry, just a quick question, comment about, so the website was, the school website, I guess, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, was cut from the budget. Is that right? So, but we do have a website out there. We still, the school still has a website.
Yes, so
out there.
there's, the previous one was cut, that looked a little fancier. So that was held by like a third-party website. Currently, Middleton Elementary has a page that's part of the Governor Randall list of schools. The board asked us to add it on. So there is a place for the elementary school there. And then for the district side,
Can I
we
get
have a
a,
free one.
I just meant like the Middleton Elementary, so if I typed in Middleton Elementary School, it's gonna come up on the
Yeah.
website.
MiddletonElementary.org.
And that one is, thanks, Marvin. And that one is maintained by the principal?
Yes. And she's brand new, so.
No, I just want clarification. So basically, there's no money in the budget for the website to do anything with the website. Not that I don't know what we would do with the website, other than put information out there. Right? Correct. And that information that's being put out there is based, done by the principal.
Yes, but the district website, the SAU unit.
Yeah, right, and I got that, okay.
so how often do you research and look into different things like electrical? Like the town, we just got a new electric supplier. How often do you update with things like that?
I signed a 2-year agreement with the consortium for reduced rates.
Okay, what about other stuff? Like, just like food from the kitchen, where you get it from, insurances, different garbage pickup, whatever, you know, different things.
Sure, so garbage pickup is very limited because of where the location is, but they try to get a quote on any companies that will come out here. We go out to bid for snow plowing. I request quotes for the propane, because that's how the district, or the school district runs, it's not one that's propane.
I know with the water bubblers they just got, did they search around and find the best
Yes.
price for bubblers? Okay,
Yes.
super.
But I gotta tell you, the company will not deliver to the school. So we're doing our best to have it delivered to the SAU office and have it
Well, the
bus
town has it delivered.
through W.E. Mason.
Yes, I believe so. Is it WD? No, because the school,
So
the
that's
town
what
has
you-
it delivered, I'm not sure.
It's more expensive. We went with the cheaper company.
So we're.
And it's a temporary situation.
Mhm, right. But I mean, saving every dime we can is
Well,
important.
like I said, we did, it's the cheapest.
Okay,
So they're like
that's what I want to
shuttling
hear.
it from SAU down to the school as
See,
they're
these-
coming out with things.
These are questions we ask and we get no answers for.
Well, you asked us the last time about the water, and the answer is in water in the question.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
at many, many meetings, we ask, have they looked around for better prices for this? I don't know, I don't know.
Anytime I have been asked a deliberative session, I have answered.
I'm not saying you, I'm saying at budget meetings with the liaison, we have asked these questions over and over and gotten no answers. I'm not blaming you,
She puts them out.
I'm just saying that this is stuff that we're looking for that we don't get answers on. So it's good to get an answer, so thank you.
And we use our gas through your town depot and
Mhm.
then our Governor Wentworth one as well. I mean, that was, you know, nothing else until pump.
Okay, good.
Jim?
How much do we pay the school board members?
I gave you that.
The regular board members, I think it's 125 a month.
No, it's a stipend that you get once a year. The board gets a little bit, the chair gets a little more, let me ask that. It's like, I want to say 1,500.
1,500 for everyone but the chair gets 150 more.
Okay, so,
Yep.
and I think we're paying the SAU like $250,000 a year. You don't have to look it up, I'm pretty sure it's close.
242.
Call it 240, I'm sure it's over that. Well, if we're paying these guys $1,500, you mean to tell me you don't have somebody that could work in conjunction with the business administrator and give the answers to these questions? In other words, the budget committee, who as far as I know doesn't get paid, could ask a question to this liaison. She could contact this nice young lady right here and get the answer. And at the school board meeting, maybe we could actually get an answer to a question once in a while.
So can I
You
just,
know, before, because what's been my experience is you go to a school board meeting, you ask a question, you don't get an answer. You go back a month later, you still don't get an answer. But if we're paying these guys to do this, then I would expect we should get some answers. Or at least I feel we should.
so if I can make a recommendation, so as the chair of the planning board, what I have started doing is I bring my laptop to all of the meetings now, and I typically keep it open, and anytime we have questions for legal or NHMA or Stratford Regional Planning, I will open up an email and have it ready, anticipating questions, and I immediately draft out my email with the questions as I'm there, so then that way I can double check with the board, other board members to make sure I get all the questions correctly, and then before I leave, I will submit it, I'll send it off. Is that something that you guys would be willing to do?
Well, I've taken notes at the last meetings that I've attended. I've sent all of those to Kathy, we've gotten the answers. I read the answers at the school board meeting. I have them, we emailed them to you. Are there questions you've asked that we did not respond to in the last 2 meetings? Because I've taken over that and I've done that. So I'm trying, you know, it's part of my job. I have to take notes, I have to keep records. I have no problem doing that. I don't need to have the email up. I handwrite, it's my way of remembering things. But if there are things that did not get answered that I missed, please tell me what those are and we can correct that. And if you get the responses either at the school board meeting or when they're emailed to you, you're like, we didn't get this answer, please reply back. And no, I don't see all of the budget committee emails. I only see what the full sends. I don't get the emails from the
Can
budget
these
committee.
be brought to the budget meeting, printed out,
Yes.
please?
Do you want the answers?
Well, I mean, so you have a paper in front of you at least to answer,
Kathy
tell us
emailed
the
it to me and I take that.
okay, but I have not seen any answers from the school, so I don't know if I'm just not getting them sent to the select board meeting or,
Nicole sends them to the select, to the budget committee generally.
right, and I have not received it. Did you send them last month? Because I haven't seen
I
any.
thought she did, she
So I don't know if Sarah's not sending them out to the select board, or
Yeah, it might be.
I have
Or to
not
the
seen
select
it.
board, I don't know what she
And then also we asked for, at least a week in advance for the financials. Can that start happening again? Because we keep getting them delayed and delayed. So it's just nice to have them at least a week in advance so we can review them. And then maybe if you want to attach the question and answer page with it.
So I know that what we started doing was we were sending them after our meeting before Friday. The goal was to get to Friday before our meeting, but our meeting is Wednesday, which is less than until your meeting. So they want the board to review them before we send them to you. So I mean, I can ask Nicole to be the one sending them, we can send them a little bit sooner than Friday, but, my goal is always, we want to get them to the release by Friday at the latest with whatever other questions that you had. And Nicole may not have sent it last because I read them, so that may have been, she might not include it because I read it at the school board meeting, but I'll have her send that out.
Roxy?
So I'm gonna go back to the budget copy and price shopping and whatever. I guess the one line that I struggle with, and I asked you about this a number of times, is the whole health insurance. It's the medical coverage, I guess, or whatever. Now, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that can't be shopped around, but we only use one specific one, and whatever the rates are, they tell us that's what we have to pay.
There are three different companies, now there are two different companies that are risk pool entities that give excellent rates. There's Health Trust and there's School Care. Middleton is is a small entity with less than 50 people on the insurance. So if we were to go out, yes, you can go out to bid, to quote, I should say, not to bid, to quote. But now that the teachers are locked in, that's the bulk of your health insurance. Now that there's a CPA that states school care, so you can't do anything with the teachers. It would be the other staff, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 people.
So because they're in the collective bargaining,
Yeah.
and collective bargaining says that they have to use the school care.
Well, locked in for them.
Does it say that they're locked in with the percentage that they pay? Because I asked
That's negotiable, but that was locked in for the current CPA that we're in right now.
Because I'll just say that for the town portion, on the town side, we use Health Trust, and
Yep.
I believe their rates are much more competitive and much better. So, but that's just from what I can see, based off, but I can see based off of what I see in this budget, and what I see in our budget, for the town, which is what we pay for health insurance, that kind of sounds like school care has a self-monopoly, and we really don't have much choice. So that's unfortunate. So that's the, and I will note, I was at the school board meeting last week, and I had a bunch of questions that I was nice enough to give to Rebecca, and she is going to follow up, and it has to do with the budget changes and stuff like that. I won't bore you with it, I should say bore you with it, keep you for a half hour regarding it, because I had probably 20 questions regarding it, so.
Jim?
Did the budget committee have a representative in the contract negotiations with the, no? Why?
They're not a party to the contract, they can't be
What's
present.
that?
They're not a party to the contract, they can't be present. It's a contract
They
between,
control the money.
So they vote yes or no, that's what their.
that's the check and balance. Yeah.
So, who negotiated the contract with our teachers?
Yeah, I think it was Nicole and Crystal at the time, it was two school board members that. Oh, it's Kelly?
Nicole and Kelly.
Who was it?
Nicole and Kelly.
So our contract with Kingswood, we are paying $14,000, I had it here someplace,
The tuition agreement?
for the tuition agreement. I think I read that's going up over $2,000 next year per student.
It's being phased in over a 5-year period for the cost per pupil.
So it's going up over $2,000 per student next year.
It will go up.
How long was that for? 2 years? Is that what I
The
read?
next 4 years, it will go up to reach the cost per pupil.
what is the cost per pupil?
I don't have that yet because I haven't closed out the books yet.
So it could be
Sorry.
the 23,000?
No, it's
Something?
being phased in, so it's not jumping to the cost per pupil is being phased in.
But eventually, we're gonna be paying 23,000 per
The cost
student.
per pupil at the end of 5 years, yes.
At the end of 5 years, we'll be paying 23,000.
Whatever the cost per pupil is at that time. And the contract's for 10 years.
I guess one other recommendation, I know, is
It's getting everyone, I see everyone
Say
going
that,
like
that's
this.
it. The only other thing maybe on your gap, is there some way for, under the regular programs where we have the tuition for the middle school and high school, it says tuition K in pre, to me, that seems like that's kindergarten, unless that means something totally different. It seems like it's kindergarten and preschool, is there a way that we can make it?
I'll look into changing the definition, but I don't like changing definitions of object codes, but I
Yeah,
will
so, because I mean, it's under the regular program, it's the 1.58, which I believe is 1.58 million that we pay for tuition. And to me, I'm just, when I look at that really quick, it says K in pre. And so I think that's like kindergarten, preschool, and I'm like, I know that that's not, that's all. What is it? I don't know, I assume.
Right now in the document driven from the software, in 1100, it breaks it out, tuition regular ed middle school, tuition regular ed high school.
I have a question about the SAU contract.
Yes.
When it talks about the annual fee, it talks about it being a percentage of a budget. What budget is that based off of?
The SAU budget, and it should say in the back of the document, the scope in which the lines, in which that includes.
It just says, it just says RSA for the exhibit A or the, oh, well, I have, it says like this, gives the whole paragraph. I don't,
No, I'll go back and look and see, but there's a list of all of the expenditures that constitutes. It's essentially the SAU budget, so it's wages, FICA, retirement, health insurance, dental insurance. It's the cost of running the SAU, so it's the budget of the SAU office.
so the budget of the SAU office that Kingswood budgets.
Governor Wentworth, yes.
So it's a percentage of Kingswood's budget, not,
It's the SAU budget specifically, not the operating budget for students, instruction, nothing like that. It's just our SAU office.
okay.
And that's only for the Middleton budget, though, not for the Kingswood students, right? You're talking about just the Middleton budget?
Your percentage.
Because this contract is for the SAU services that they provide our elementary school.
No, I just wanted to clarify, because it sounded like we were talking, we were bringing Kingswood in. and
Yeah, I'm saying no, it's not.
Based on their.
There's no instructional dollars
So
using that formula.
this year, you guys are running a default budget, correct?
Correct.
So everything should be the same as last year?
Plus or minus any, and contractual obligations, yeah.
How many students do we have this year?
I don't have that number, it's taken on October 1st as a required. That's not my.
I was gonna say, just as an online, we usually get the listing to verify residency, so we will get that as of October 1st. For any child, even that is in, that goes to school, whether it's any yes.
Yeah.
No, those are just the goals.
We need to town, that I'm aware of. They don't have to tell us anything, right? So we don't.
Questions?
So I guess I just don't understand how it, so if the budget stayed the same for your default budget, I don't understand how the numbers went up.
Because it's based on last year.
But that doesn't count contractual. That's, even if it's a default budget, the contracts still go through,
So
correct?
next year, so when I start to do the budget for next year, it's gonna be on this year's. So you don't, it's a year behind essentially is what it is. So the default budget is this year. So when you see the contract come budget season for next year for the SAU services, that's where you're gonna see the default budget being used as the formula for the SAU services. You have to be a year behind, and the default budget is right now.
All this work trying to get ahead.
Scott,
It's so important
did
to
you
try
have
and get
something?
ahead.
No, I was just going to explain.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes it can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was on the budget committee and everything, the school doesn't run fiscal to fiscal like the town does. So the numbers you're looking at are not the numbers for what you think they are.
We go July 1st to June 30th.
And we'll get the numbers of the kids next month, you said.
October 1st is when the numbers are captured for state reporting.
Any more
For the
questions?
financials, for like the end of year reports, do you think you'll have those by next?
I will do, next meeting I will do that.
I guess so.
Yeah, I do both, I treat you both the same.
Any other questions?
The proposed budget, do you feel like that is
Okay, well, so we're down to the school, so,
Yeah, unless anybody has anything else on the
yeah,
school.
unless anybody else has something to say about the school budget, we'll move on to, because I know Scott has to get going, right?
I don't know, but this way he kind of needs to.
If you need to.
Yes, asked to have Kathy and Carolyn use it for the on with them.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Good. We want you to. Two papers today. Fire, ZBA, police. Yeah, sorry.
So, we'll just start with Scott's.
Yeah, I don't know if he needs me, but just.
Yeah, okay, so we can go ahead and start with the police budget. So in case Scott has to step out, let's take care of it. Yeah.
Step over because he's getting home. No, just in case he needs.
Are you ready, Scott? Chief?
Yes, yes. Yes, I'll.
I've already got this. Well, it took me out. Ready when you are.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll start off by saying, I know that you're looking at the numbers going, we have a 2% budget cap. So I have explanations for all the lines, if people have questions. But basically, the biggest increase to the budget is the full-time personnel line. And part of that is because last year, in an effort to keep the town under the 2% cap as an overall whole of the town budget, we had discussed potentially staffing with the agency, with the department. knowing that we would not be staffing officers January, February, because of the length of time that it takes to complete a background, to complete all the hiring requirements and what have you. A cut was made to that line. And now basically I am here to ask for that money back, so that I can continue to staff your department. And then also there's some other expenditures in here that weren't traditionally in the police budget. So you'll notice under the communications line, which is the 421070, you'll notice a pretty good jump there as far as an increase. That is actually money that is now going to be transferred out from the 4299-91 line, which is a municipal line. That's our cost for dispatch that's been added into that line. That is a cost associated to the police department, but for some reason it was always, or it wasn't always, but in the past few years it's been incumbent on the municipal budget. But that's actually a cost of your department. So in a realistic world, you'll see an increase there. I would presume on the municipal side, you're going to see a decrease on that side for the same amount as the increase on the police side.
Is that how much we're currently budgeted for?
No, it'll be split between police and fire, because we get two bills, we get two bills, but we always budget it in one line. So there's a portion that's police and there's a portion that's fire and EMS.
So our police line was 4,194. I don't recall the fire department's section of that off the other side. I think it was like
1,900.
I was going to say it was.
Because we budgeted 6,000 and we paid out this year 5,984.32, so $15.
And I use those numbers because the county commission has already let me know that there'll be no increase for 2026. They're going to level fund our cost.
On the town side, I'm sorry, Scott, you want to finish with?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the town side, are you still accounting for it in and out?
We will,
or is it
no,
gonna
we
go
will,
there?
we will adjust for it on the town side, so we'll put it, it'll go into the police line as well as another line in firing this, and we'll take it out and we'll get rid of this dispatch line. So it's just gonna be location. Yep.
So there's a couple of things in here with as far as location goes. You'll see some line increases, and then you'll see some line decreases, because again, I'm trying to get you a true depiction line by line of cost. And there were some items that were being expended out of lines that, in my opinion, don't belong in that line. So I relocated certain things throughout the budget.
What's the office of the first one?
Looks like
That is.
4210.
1091.
91.
That goes down from 1,200 to 48,500.
So 91 is actually your copier contract for the copy machine. And new to this line is our central square, which is a line that we were taking out of equipment. That is our computer database system through IMC that we pay a portion through the county for. So that's money again that I just moved from one line to the other. Also in there is in that line is general service to the generator, which traditionally was, I believe, under the municipal budget as well. So some of these lines, we've just tried to put them, I guess, more where they belong. You know, it's the police department's generator, it's a cost associated with running the police department. So we took it from the municipal side. This year, it came out of our budget this year. The police department budget paid for it this year. Presumptively, we'll continue in the future with absorbing those expenses. So that's why there's an increase there. It's not necessarily an increase, it's just a movement of funding from other lines.
Right now you have one full-time person,
Thank you.
and you're hoping you're recruiting for the second one.
Correct.
No bites yet though.
We just posted it out on Thursday, I think it was. Wednesday or Thursday this past week. No formal resumes at this point, but I have had a couple of inquiries.
So your full-time salary is for how many staff?
Part-time varies as far as the amount of people that you have. Personally, I wouldn't want to carry more than probably 3.
If you're fully staffed, you expect the part-time to be as high?
As far as so that part-time line that's in there doesn't actually cover a whole lot of hours.
What was your part-time last year?
I believe we actually level funded it. The only increase there would be essentially a COLA.
I guess I meant, what did you actually expend last year?
You're going back, you're talking 24?
The other amounts on here,
Yep.
is that how much was spent or how much was in your budget for those years?
That was what was budgeted.
Okay.
That was our expenditures. That was what was budgeted. Year to year. So I can't speak to last year's expenditures. What I can tell you is, as of current date this year, we've spent almost 7,000 out of the part-time line, just under 7,000.
Are you paying Randy out of the full-time or the part-time line?
Randy was paid out of full-time. He was actually paid out of the chief's salary line in 2024. Then when he transitioned back to part-time in January of this year, initially it came out of the full-time line, but we then transferred that. And so that Randy's pay came out of the part-time line. This for 2025.
So being understaffed, was most of the money coming out of the part-time budget or the overtime?
So I can't speak to 23, 22. What I can tell you is they expended a significant amount of overtime in those years, and that comes just from sitting on the budget committee and what I mean. This year we've expended very little overtime, but again, that's due to staffing. I put all the overtime out, but if I have nobody to work it, I can't spend it. So, my anticipation, and again, this budget is anticipation of being fully staffed. Now, keeping in mind what is fully staffed for us. Fully staffed for us is 3 full-time people. Okay? 3 full-time people will basically get you coverage from 7 a.m. until midnight. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it'll get you coverage from 7 a.m. until approximately 5:30 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what 3 full-time people will get you without expending overtime shifts. Then you have part-timers. In today's day and age, part-timers are far different than the way they used to be. I know Middleton used to depend heavily on part-time officers. There aren't as many part-time officers out there anymore. A lot of them typically try to get on part-time to keep their certification and work details. They're really not interested in working, a second shift or even a partial third shift on a Saturday night. And the other part of that is that providing coverage to the taxpayer. I can't put a part-timer on a Saturday and count on them like I do a full-timer, knowing that they're going to work every Saturday. I just can't project that from a part-timer. And my job as a taxpayer and the police chief is to provide the taxpayer that service, so that when they call for help on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, I know somebody's going to be going. We do currently have state police, I guess on an on-call basis you could call it, but their staffing levels are fairly short as well, or fairly low as well. They are coming to help us. There are times that they call me later in the night or in the evenings and say, hey, you got a call. Unfortunately, the closest trooper I have right now is in Hampton. It's a Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. Is there any chance you could go out and handle this? And I'll go out and handle whatever the call is that comes in. But again, keeping in mind, that's a time delay for the people that call for help.
Is that a service we have to pay them for?
We do not. They statutorily, because of our population, they provide that coverage to us. But again, their main objective is state police. So if they're all tied up, or if they don't have it available, we're kind of like waiting in the wind. So what I can tell you is they traditionally run 3 cars. Troop A runs 3 cars on the median. So you have a Route 16 car, you have a 95 car, and a 101 car. So that trooper that responds up here, he could be coming from the Manchester town line on 101 or the Hampton town line on 95. We don't have a trooper that is essentially assigned to Middleton or a county car for that matter. They don't have county cars either. So for us, the closest car would be the Route 16 car. And that he's running basically from Middleton, because we're the northern tier of Troop A, basically down to the 95 Route 16 interchange.
So do we not get like mutual aid from other towns out there?
We do get mutual aid from other towns. Statutorily, mutual aid, to enact mutual aid, it requires that a jurisdictional agency be on scene and request assistance beforehand. I do have an agreement and discussion pieces with all of our surrounding chiefs. If we have a major incident that is a high priority, yes, Farmington is probably going to slide that way. But is Farmington going to slide up that way for a fireworks complaint? No.
And of course, our county police really don't.
The sheriff's department?
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't,
I could be wrong here, but I don't believe they patrol.
not like other counties.
The prosecution budget for the last 2 years, there's nothing in there.
I do all of our prosecution.
Why was it outsourced before?
It was.
Okay.
I did all the prosecution for the state for many years, so.
Yeah, Rochester.
So again, you'll see, back to it here, hold on. So again, you'll see, if you break down the numbers, essentially if you're looking at a total increase on that budget of $36,418, which seems like a huge number. If you take the $23,000 from the full-time line and deduct that, and then deduct back the communications costs for dispatch that we've now absorbed, along with a few of the other minor costs that we've now absorbed under the police department budget. If you break all those numbers out, what you're looking at essentially is a $7,718 increase for that budget.
How are you doing with funding your revolving fund for the detail fund?
As far as
Are you guys?
growing it?
Yeah, are you finally starting to grow it?
Yes and no. So there's plenty of details out there. There's plenty of details to be worked. So again, without staffing, none of that revenue is coming in. So one thing we are doing, and you'll see like on the cruiser maintenance line, I level funded that, and I level funded that for the simple fact that we're decreasing the size of the fleet by 1 car, and we're purchasing a new car. The other cars have all been through the shop, and I just got them all state inspected the other day. They're all running pretty good, so I'm not anticipating, again, I can't project with a crystal ball, but I'm not anticipating any major vehicle maintenance costs.
So you're going down to 4?
Yes.
Did you guys get rid of the animal control?
That is still over there. We've written it up and everything. It's just a matter of myself and Kim sitting down to get it posted online and go with it.
Yeah.
Is it possible to get for last year, how much of each line item was actually exceeded?
Yeah, we can get that. I will say last year, I think we were short-staffed and middle-staffed, so.
I think the last couple of years have been really kind of wonky because of staffing. I mean, it's finally stabilizing, I think, and it's getting.
All I felt was doing mine.
You really can't compare this year to last year. I think the last 3 years have not been, they're not a good comparison.
No.
Let's just put it that way.
As far as staffing, I get that. But other things are still going to be in there as well.
Yeah.
So most of these line items that you'll see, outside of uniforms, outside of, personnel costs, are pretty contractual as far as the breakouts in each. The cleaning of the PD, that's a set fee contractual. The dues, most of that is contractual. That's our police one online training, along with a couple other contractual things. Actually, I'm sorry, that's under 45, that's under the training one. The 41 line, those are the funds that we use, that's actually contractual, that's our SWAT agreement with the Stratford County SWAT team, that's what that is. Uniforms, you'll see a little bit of an increase there. That is just based on staffing and costs. Just one ballistic vest alone is about $1,600. Now, we did write a grant. Whether that grant is going to come into play for this budget cycle, or I'm not 100% sure yet. It's a 50% match grant reimbursement. If that comes into play, great. But I can't count on it at this point. I don't have a definitive answer as to whether or not we're going to be able to apply that to 2026 expenditures. So that line is just, that increase there is just based on, basically on that. And those are a 5-year expense. The vest carrying expiration of 5 years. So that's not something where that's going to be a recurring expense every year, but with staffing and staffing new officers, it is an expense that you'll have right now.
The excesses you have that are downstairs, they can be reused, correct?
There's only like 2 or 3 down there that I found. They're in pieces. Like I found the front to one, the back to a different one. I haven't, other than, I found one complete vest, which I was able to give Officer Hutchins, and she wore until her vest came in.
He has also made it so that the names on his shirts,
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
they're
we've taken
Velcro, so we
everything
can
at this point,
reuse.
and everything is reusable.
Yeah.
So if I,
You can be gone that quickly.
that's as quick as it takes right there. Because I will say, when I came in, I went through the uniforms downstairs, and every single thing is embroidered.
So, back to your question, Tracy, about what was expended. If you have a 2024 book, the very end of it has what was expended out of the budget. So, hold on to your books. But just so that, I was going to say, you don't have to wait if you have it. It's the very end.
So you'll see, one of the lines is not a new line, but a line that hasn't been used in years, is the 93 line. It's basically the last line on the budget. I did put the 42.99.91 on there just as a reference point, because that's where the old Stratford County money was coming out of the municipal side. But just to touch on that, so it's labeled investigative funding. I've been using that this year just to track expenditures as far as employment goes for polygraphs, psychological exams, physical examinations, and what have you, as required under pretty standard rule for standard hiring procedures. I can tell you a psychological exam costs us $150. A physical exam is about $200 per officer. It's a written one.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you an idea right there. The $1,000 would potentially cover the next full-timer and possibly a part-timer. I did increase the fuel line a little bit. That fuel line again is based on us being fully staffed, 3 officers. Also incumbent in there is the cost now, because we are separating out the maintenance, annual maintenance and repair costs of the pumps. So those are now being divvied up amongst fire, I believe fire, highway, and police. So that line increased just a little bit based on what it cost us this year for that routine maintenance cost. as we know from this year, right, the potential that there could be.
Absolutely.
Just a question, the numbers that you gave for the previous years, were those the previous budget, or was that what was expended?
No, those are budget.
That was what was budgeted, okay. And there were, Roxanne, I think you might remember, there was a couple of years, or a few years back, where the police line actually was overspent, were they not? So, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago it was.
I think it's 3.
And again, just to be transparent with you guys, so, on-call pay. That's all dependent on us having officers that live within what would be acceptable range. I'm salary paid, so I get called out if it is what it is. I traditionally am working on average about 100 hours a pay period right now, 90 to 100 hours a pay period. But I don't commit for overtime. But if we have an officer who lives close enough by and is willing to take on-call hours, then at midnight hour, they would then go on call from morning out. So that's a line that if we don't get anyone that lives within what would be, I would consider to be acceptable range limits, mileage and time-wise, that's a line that potentially we may not expend anything on.
What is your plan for any funds you don't expend?
What's that?
For funds that you don't expend every year, what's the plan for that?
Well, I would imagine next year, whatever we don't expend, it would potentially go back to the general fund. We have had money this year, which I've been using to upgrade things that needed upgrading and never got upgraded, that I've been using to kind of predict for the future. As far as officer number 3, I've already purchased equipment that is non-sizable, kind of stuff, that isn't size or gender specific, in anticipation of that employment at the end of this year, or hopefully no later than the beginning of next year. So this year I've tried to pre-plan for next year, knowing that we do have some surplus money this year. We're trying to offset that.
So the cruisers and the iPads or computers that are inside, do you have, or
We use them every day.
do all of them have them now?
So 3 out of the 4,
Okay.
well, all 4 cars will have them when the
Okay.
final car is outfitted. 3 of them are currently up and running. One of them we were not able to get into. It had a password lock on it, and we couldn't figure out what it was. So I wound up wiping the whole computer, rebuilding the whole computer, and it's called an MDT. That MDT is actually down at Stratford County right now, having all of the database interface put into it, so that when car 4 arrives and is outfitted, then that'll go into that car and be online. So yes, all 4 will be online this fall.
I would say for all of the changes that we've gone through the past few years and looking at everything, I think I'm not horrified, and I actually like how you wrote it up for us, and it's very easy and transparent, and
Yep.
Like I said, I mean,
it's a little bit of a jump, but giving all the explanations, I'm not having chest pain right now.
I don't want to call it fluff.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that based on my predictions and my hopes for the department, this would be a relatively good working budget. But again, there's certain avenues or certain aspects of police work that I have no control over, such as that third full-timer. If we don't fill that spot, if we don't fill it for 3 months, well.
What is the pay about, like, that year? Because
So what I have worked into that full-time line is what I consider a top step, meaning, in other words, somebody who meets every single pinpoint and criteria of what we're looking for as far as the position goes. Do I think we'll find that? No. But if we did, those are essentially the top steps. And what that breakdown in there is 60 and 80. So as far as a patrolman goes, it's 60, and then as far as a supervisor goes, it's 80.
What's the one full-time that we have now?
So I actually worked out those numbers. Per, with the COLA raise, if it goes through as I've put in there, which is 3%, she would come in just under the 60. I believe it was like 59 and some change.
So she's the patrol person?
Yes.
And you're looking for a supervisor?
I'm looking for a supervisor, yeah. I'm looking for your next chief, actually. I mean that in the nicest way possible. I don't plan on leaving relatively quick.
You're not that old.
My goal is succession planning. I'm eligible for retirement. I've been eligible for years now. But at the same time, I want to leave this being better than I found it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. If we don't, I'm probably going to give it a little bit of time. If we don't wind up with a solid candidate, what I will probably do is hire a third full-time officer and then try to eventually at some point down the road promote one of them. Which obviously would come in significantly less than the numbers that I've projected.
So I guess with those those rates that you got, and then seeing what you're paying the full-time person now, so she's making what, like 50s?
So we hired her on a step, kind of a step plan, as we've done with actually all the staff that we've brought down there now, where basically we brought them in at one rate, and then they've completed as far as either FTO or transition to another phase of FTO, which is where they got an incremental raise. So our full-timer was the intent to bring them to pay them $28 an hour. We brought them in at 26. They completed first phase of FTO, they went to 27. They'll complete their second phase of FTO, which is solo status, and then at that point she'll hit the 28. So this number is based on 3% on that 20.
What would a supervisor do over a patrolman?
So basically, in the absence of me, they're going to do everything I do. So for me, they're going to cover shift, just like I do. They're going to be assisting with case approval. They'll be helping with budgetary stuff. They'll be overseeing, as far as patrol goes, as far as our one officer and our part-time officers. They'll be taking care of evaluations. They'll be on call. As far as in my absence, you know, if I go away for the weekend and something happens, they're going to be the immediate call person.
Would that be salaried or hourly?
You could go either way with it. I'm not opposed to either.
So the patrol person is a 60,000 a year position?
That was my initial on the 140 was looking at current rates of pay in the general area based on patrolmen, based on sergeants, and the numbers that come out essentially for a top tier would bring you to the 60-80 split.
So it would be reasonably competitive?
What's that?
We're reasonably competitive.
On those numbers, we're very competitive. We're right in the ballpark. You know, as far as I'll give you a prime example. A 3-year sergeant down in Farmington is probably making 36, between 36 and 37 now. Over in Milton, they're probably their corporals. I think their corporals are probably around 33, 34. Their sergeants are 35 and 40 an hour. So that number right there gives us the low side and the top side, depending upon what we get for a candidate. And all of our advertisements are based on experience. So it's not a, hey, you want to come work here this way or maybe it's if your credentials get you there.
Thank you. Good.
All right.
go.
Yeah, for the
We want to know
moment.
who you are. Jim, you're up with CBA.
Yep.
Zoning, it's a relatively small budget if you take out the legal, I think it's 900 or so. And this is just a suggestion, doesn't matter to me either way, but if you look over there at the almost $14,000 we overspent the legal line by, I suggest maybe upping that to 5,000, only because, not that I see a major litigation like we're involved in now, but with the changes in the housing laws and stuff, I don't even know that the lawyers are quite caught up with it yet, so you're gonna probably want to reference legal. I'm assuming it's the potential. And given that, you know, it will just go back in the general fund if you don't spend it anyway. It just, you know, I would think people are going to look at it and be shocked when they see the number after, because the current litigation that we have now is slated to go the end of the month, and I don't believe we've received those bills yet for the preparation and what it's going to cost for her to litigate it. So,
Yeah, so what do you have for budgeted, what do you
we have
have spent?
$3,000.
No, what has been spent year to date on the
$16,756.
There's actually 13,000 that's in the town attorney line, and you see what has ZBA line, so.
An additional 13,000?
I had to fish out that it's deliberative, because I know what lawyer rates are, and I was pretty surprised at how low we budgeted, knowing we were just in the beginning phase. And this doesn't account for any potential appeal, too.
So I will tell you, so that's gonna bring that up to 29. We do have the warrant article that will get, this will get reduced, I have to work with him by $15,000 warrant article, but still, we're still gonna be probably 15 or more overspent on this.
Yeah, and again, you know, hoping that we don't spend any of it. And we have started exploring some alternative means, New Hampshire Municipal, and we've talked about, there's some services that you can retain right up here available that we've looked at, correct?
For help with
With legal stuff, you know, that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like Stratford.
Yeah, you pay
Yeah.
a set amount per year, and you get a little bit of,
We get some free advice.
yeah, well, free ain't free,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's kind of our,
But yeah, and, you know, it's, and, you know, everybody's been good with, obviously, none of us are lawyers that are on the zoning board right now. We'd sure love to have one, but, so if we generally ask to have legal's advice, we've always been green-lighted on it for obvious reasons. The only thing I'm a little confused about is we're about $1,923 over on the newspaper notice line. I have no idea what that number was.
I don't know where the 900 comes from, but we did pay for some newspaper
I'm
ads
sure it
because
wasn't
we
that.
made some
Yeah.
errors, so we agreed for
Right.
the resident to
Right.
for the cost, but it shouldn't be that much.
No, I wouldn't even think a little
I'd
bit
like to,
close to.
be interested in seeing the breakdown.
And generally,
Got right here. Got the numbers.
it's not cheap to put things in the paper. We used to have to do it to serve people by publication, and it was $1,500 for the run that you had to do to serve people.
well, usually it's incumbent upon the requestee
Yeah.
to cover that. But we have had instances where we wanted more information and we didn't have our ducks in a row, so to speak. So we said, you know what, it's unreasonable to ask you to pay for it again. And so we, as a board,
Well, it's
elected
like
to,
$300, so $250.
yeah, it was, I didn't think it was a lot of money.
that item need to be increased, or do you think that those are one-offs? and we're
No,
not
no,
gonna see
no,
that next year?
not that.
What number are we talking about, 4193?
19,
Yeah.
yeah.
41 dash what?
19.
Newspaper notices, so based off of the August budget that I have here, nothing has been spent. $750, I have a budget line here, because nothing has been spent.
Well,
Since when?
This is through August of 20, August 31st, 2025. Newspaper notices, 750
Yeah.
budgeted.
this is a
year-to-date
24 that I
required.
have.
Well, there's
Sorry.
the problem.
Sorry.
From January
All right,
to...
now wait a minute, so he's looking at 2024 numbers, and we're
Right.
looking at 2025.
Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
So is all of this for
Okay.
long? Well, I think he probably just didn't change the date, it's not this much.
Well, that would be whoever, yes. So,
No, this is the budget
so what,
statement.
so I can tell you what's in the budget for the plan, for the ZBA. Newspaper notice is 750, workshops is 300, ZBA legal is 3,000, reference materials 300, and then office supplies $1.
Okay.
So, the
So,
only thing, wait a minute, the only thing spent out of that, all of that budgeted this year so far is the legal, and that's where you have that
right, well, we
1697.
haven't had anything, so that makes perfect sense. I didn't know this was the 24.
I don't know, that's what they have.
Yeah. So, moving forward, with a spanking, yeah, I don't even know why it's 750 really, because like I said, generally, that is something that's incumbent on the person wanting the variance, takes care of the newspaper notifications. So,
That's the only revenue side, you won't see that.
we were, right.
But we don't offset it.
So, we were just gonna stay pretty much status quo on everything other than the suggestion to bump up the legal to whatever you guys think is appropriate. You know, I mean, I think generally speaking, without any litigation, 5,000 would be more than enough to make some phone calls and get some advice and maybe even have, if we continue with the same way we've been using firm, we've been using, come to a meeting or two and advise, things like that. We've done that in the past. Yeah, I just didn't like, you know, it wouldn't take much to burn up 3,000 and then we're at a deficit again. And we have no money, even though it's bottom line, to try to, you know, try to move numbers around and make it work. It's always going to be in the negative, I think.
So the warrant, there's a warrant article to,
15,000,
and that money's gone.
well, it's gonna offset this, it's gonna offset this 16,971 in there, but then that's gonna be bumped up by 13,000 that's in the town attorney line that got booked and
Shifted over.
yeah.
The one thing that I will throw out there is so we have workshops. What's the number on the 25 budget?
$300.
So, okay, so that's the same, and we also have reference material, 300, and that's the same, correct?
Yep.
Everything's
All
the
right.
same except for people saying legal.
The zoning board certainly could use more training. I'm the chairman, that should explain it right there, okay? So, you know, hopeful, now, I don't have facts, but I've heard and read some things about Lori Gunnison has had a very difficult time. She's gone through some pretty significant health issues, and the last that I've heard is some of it's, you know, permanent. So I don't, she's the vice chair. I don't know where she's at. I don't even know how we, you know, would go about trying to find out just what, if reality is that haven't heard. So potentially we'd be looking to put another number on it. Training, those workshops, they're only, what, $150 a piece? So, you know, right in there. So we don't have a lot of money, but the reference material one, you know, we could probably borrow, you know, but that's $600. So, you know, we're gonna go well over the 2%.
Well, there's a lot of free workshops that you guys can go through NHMA,
Yeah, well, we're always looking at it.
but there's that one in October.
You just signed up for one, right?
Yeah, and DBA's gonna pay for that, right?
Yeah.
It's 100 and something.
Yeah.
110.
But if you had 2 people
Yeah.
that could go, now you just wiped your whole,
Well, John mentioned
Right.
about possibly going as well, so.
So John Mullen is going,
so, you know,
and the planning board is
Yeah.
covering for,
Yeah.
it's coming out of that budget.
I mean, I guess it's up to you guys. It's, zoning is,
Well, I would say the 750 that's in the newspaper,
I would say, right tonight, Rich, you're proposing, this is what you're proposing, and then it's just a matter of them
yeah,
deciding.
I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there for you guys to think about. You guys are the ones that are gonna,
I would just say that if you have that 750 in the newspaper notice line and it's truly not being
right,
used,
yeah.
mark it down to
I
that.
mean, maybe we
But you
could,
don't know what it's gonna be used for.
Right,
until-
exactly.
Until something.
Well, it was 250 if this is the 24 figure. So what we're looking at had it at 250 and you changed, you said.
Well,
So
Or
that's
we said instead of 7.
Or if we took 500 of that and moved it down to the.
so I wasn't the chairman.
But I think in the end,
Last
you're
year.
gonna keep the numbers, I don't think it matters where you.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah,
because the
Right.
bottom
it's
line
just-
is
The
regardless.
bottom line is gonna stay the same, other than he's looking to try and increase the ZBA legal by 2,000. Everything else you can shuffle around, but
And, I mean, really, if, like, cross your fingers, if things go great and you don't need to utilize the legal so much, you could
use
use
it
it
for.
for the training. I would rather see the money go towards the training than the legal, because
You never know. You're not right.
Right.
Yeah.
Wish they were always simple sign. I do have a couple of the fire rescue, if anybody wants them.
I can speak to the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, if anybody wants copies, I do have a couple here.
If you want to speak to that now.
Yep.
You have extra copies?
Yep. I didn't see it. I put it on.
So, the overall budget, from what he's proposed, is he's just basically capped it at the 2%, for the EMS and the fire. And I do believe he has gotten rid of, and we haven't discussed that as the board of selectmen, but he is proposing that he is going to forego the cell phone stipend, like that immediately, but, so that's why next year's budget has 0, because there'll be no cell phone stipend. You know, he can say, absorb that somewhere else in the budget. So basically, his line's gonna go from 2 together. We have here is 171, 741, I think it's going to. One 175, 174.
Which one is that?
So that's, I just added them together, the EMS and the fire.
Oh,
So he has actually going from 91,000 to 92,820, and it's an 18, 20 increase, and it's all going into the shift pay. And then on the fire side, it's gonna go from 80,741 to 82,354, and that's split out between member expense, the gasoline and the diesel, because that's increasing because they're actually going on more costs, get more coverage, so. But everything else, there may be some shifting of some numbers based
How
on.
many days a week are they able to give us coverage now, with like people here?
I think they've been covering from the board, whatever days you can
Percentage
cover,
of it, yeah.
what they can do. That's my understanding. I'm not gonna say it's 7 days or whatever, you know, because I think on the weekends it's probably they on call. But Monday through Friday, I would say, I guess, there's probably covered 3 to 4 days, I believe, per year.
Having somebody here. And I see Carter's there, I just don't know.
He covers, I believe, 2 days, and then there's other people that actually have
We're not being
We're
charged
covering-
from other towns anymore, are we?
Say that-
No.
we haven't seen a bill from Milton, and I don't know how long. It's been really nice. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I know, we're sending checks for them.
Yeah, they did it.
Absolutely, not just.
Well, I mean, you need to cut, you know, we don't have coverage that day, but I believe we're covering at least 3 out of the 5 days, Monday through Friday.
But they're actually able to give mutual aid and
And,
several other towns.
yes,
so
we
it's
have,
really
actually,
Yes.
we have covered, other towns.
Which is why we were getting charged by Middleton, because we couldn't.
Yep. Help
with their rate. Yeah.
Yeah, the time, so, yeah.
So with that, has their ambulance fund
There's, so,
being,
yeah, but I think so we know that because if you look at the budgeted numbers, they're pretty high for the, so like, you look at EMS shift pay, that's budgeted this year 70,000, right now we're at the end of August, it's at 53,586. That's over where we would expect to be at the end of August, which would be like at 67%, we're at 76. And then there's the member expense is at, we budgeted roughly 24,000, we're at 22.2, we're at 93.83. So if we get to the point where he feels comfortable with what we're going to have for the rest of the year, however, we do have the ability to go and pull from the ambulance revolving fund to cover for like the per diem, to get that coverage, because we don't want to give up the coverage if we can't pay them, if we have that ability to pay them through the ambulance revolving fund. And so we will tap into that if need be.
well, it makes
So
sense to then tap into that, so we're not going over budget,
Right.
provided that we're able to continuously.
Right, and we
Refresh it.
won't, there might be some lines that are over here, but, again, it's bottom line, there'll be some lines that he is specifically not charging, not using, so that he can offset that cost.
Will the increases that he put in cover the overage from this year, so that we don't run into that?
No, given the tax cap, that's what he's presented here. We did have a short conversation, we didn't go into any detail on what he said. He's got some options that he's going to provide at town meeting, just in case he knows in order to know about that, we need to, go above the 2% required that to be done at town meeting. So that's kind of a segue, I just want to kind of comment about that. I don't know, many of you know, but there's been a new law that got passed this year regarding tax caps, and it doesn't affect cities that have tax caps, it only affects towns. So in the past, when we had a tax cap, all we had to do was make the motion and we voted. Now, my understanding is, and I have to give a little bit more clarification on this, but my understanding from what I've read is it has to be a ballot vote and it has to be 3/5, and it'll happen at town meeting. However, I don't know if it has to be like each article, or if you could do it all together, because I'm like thinking because in our book, when we vote, we have Article 3 is governmental, Article 2 might be highway, Article 3 is whatever. And so we know that we're going to probably we're going to ask to go over a couple of those, and we're going to have to do a ballot vote for each one, or can we do one overall? I have to get some clarification on that. But that is a change, so it's not just going to be by voice vote, it's going to be by ballot vote at town meeting, and it has to be 3/5 in order for it to pass.
He's on the moderator?
I don't know, that's a good question, you have to ask Andrea or Linda O'Donnell. They're the supervisors of the checklist, they're the ones that
Choose it.
appoint that person. Yeah. So, and I'll just speak quickly, because we haven't done it, the board has not gone through the executive lines or the government lines. We will be looking to review that on Monday. Once we come up with those, we will pass that information along.
Jim?
If you want, while I'm right here, just to give a quick deal on the highway, kind of the same thing. As you probably have noticed in years past, we don't use the bulk of our budget until it should start. Within the next 2 weeks, hopefully, we'll start putting sanders in and going through everything. And, bear in mind, they came out of the, we oil them all up and run them, wash them, take care of them, put them up. But they've just been through severe duty, so until you get them out there the first storm or two, you don't find the weak links and stuff. And this applies the same thing, we deplete stuff. And I would, the one caveat is salt went up $1 a ton, so we think we're going to be okay. We looked at the numbers, what we used for salt last year, and how much we've got, a little wiggle room, and hopefully we can make it through it with what, leave the budget where it is, but $1 a ton is a pretty good jump. Other than that, when do you think you'd really like to have the...
Anytime you can get them.
At least, like I'm saying, it'll be October when we're putting all this stuff in. So if you, do you think like the November budget meeting?
Well, we don't have a date set yet for our department head meeting, but we'd need it before then.
Okay.
We're trying to do things a little proactive this year and get on
So
top of it a little
Tracy
earlier.
will probably be on it and give us a heads
Get
up
on it, Tracy.
when you're looking for it, and we definitely will, make every effort to get it done.
Yeah, I'd be working on it so you can
And
do what you can.
as you know, we're short-handed,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's, everything's a little back up.
Understood.
Considering, but, yeah.
I don't have the select board budget done either, so I get it. But
So say for the planning board, kind of like what Jim was saying with the ZBA budget, with all of the changes that are going on with the state, and the state basically forcing us to change our ordinances. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with the budget. I'd like to hopefully keep it the same. Right now, we're working with Stratford Regional Planning, and they got a hold of a grant to help us with the current changes. And hopefully, once we get those changes and they go through legal, it'll be okay. But until I talk to Blair, who I'm working with Stratford Regional, to kind of get a better grip on stuff. So I'll probably, maybe next month, hammer down some better numbers for you guys.
where are you guys at?
We haven't really used much of anything, but that's because, we haven't used like, so I've been, fortunately, because of Blair at Stratford Regional, and we've been able to utilize those services. And then on top of that, with the grant that they were given, with the changes that the state's pushed onto us, that's helped us. But once we get all of the warrant articles and once we get everything tidied up and ready for election, we'll have to send everything through legal to have it all double and triple checked.
Yeah, so the majority of what's going to go through the ordinances are going to be what's state mandated. So interestingly enough, it has to go on the ballot, even though the state is mandating it. So the town votes on it, votes either yes or no. If it gets voted down, the state still has it, but the town keeps what we have on for. It's very weird. It's
very weird and very frustrating.
I don't understand when, if you're going to mandate it, then it should just become an ordinance, which the town people still have to vote on.
Well, if you're gonna mandate it, it's real law.
That's-
You don't have to worry about
No,
ordinance
but
because
they
it's
know,
law.
but they're saying, this is what the ordinance, they're
This
telling
is
us.
now a cap and not
Yeah.
a floor, so there's no
Yeah.
choice, you gotta follow it.
Yeah.
So they changed the lot sizes or no?
Yeah.
No, that has not gone, so that hasn't gone through. Right now, the big changes are,
ADU,
ADU.
which I
Which-
believe we pretty much comply with, I think,
Yeah.
most everything that's in what they're proposing for what they passed for ADU, so I feel pretty good about that.
The ADU one is okay, then there was the mixed use
Yeah.
areas for zoning.
That
That one is a tricky one. There's a lot of gray areas right now that even Stratford Regional is trying to get answers to. So I'm waiting for Blair, like those guys are scrambling, so.
Has anyone reached out to any of the neighboring towns that are also impacted by some of this?
Well, so Stratford Regional, right, so they're dealing with all of
They're dealing with all of them.
They're dealing with like the New York, you know, they're dealing with
Just wondering if there's any talk about like maybe a class action, I guess?
I've overheard potential of that happening.
Should happen.
And I won't be surprised, especially for other small towns, because the things that have passed right now are could significantly impact us. And then the other things that are coming through, I dread when I look at my emails with the updates, because it will really change how our town looks and operates and.
It's opposite to what we
Potentially.
Right.
Yeah, so until I kind of tidy things up with Blair to find out where the grant dollars are lying, I don't want to put forth anything.
As I said, are you forced to put it on the ballot?
We're going to have to put it on the ballot and write it. I mean, now there is,
It's not on that passage, but-
so, yeah, there is potential for a couple of things that have passed to where we could change it a little bit. But he's got to find out more information before he can kind of commit, and then I have to run by our legal.
Which he's doing that for pretty much all the towns and stuff.
Yeah,
So which works out well, it's beneficial, right?
Yeah.
You get that expertise there.
it's just horrible timing right now, because we're getting down to like the wire, needing to.
Put them up to.
Well, because you have to have public, when you know, the orders, you have to have the public
Public
hearing, you
hearings.
have to, you know, this and that.
We have to-
So we have to back into these timeframes
Yeah.
and.
But we have to write, send it up to legal, get their blessing, have it back, so it's not really, it's not fun right now, it's kind of stressful. It's the season.
I just want, I want to know, so, and I should have made the comment when Scott was here, so I apologize, I didn't think of it until I was looking at my blank sheet here for like the town portions. But, police retirement, so obviously whatever his salaries go up for in the police section, the police retirement will go up because that's a set amount, that's a
Is it 30?
32, it's a 30% number somewhere there. So that's just gonna be, in our budget, it'll be just a straight taking on his salary and our times 30. So right now, I can tell you what we budgeted for this year, 2025, is 71,610.71. So if he's looking to propose, I'm gonna do a round, easy number and say, say 150,000, I don't know, 40,000. So you're looking at an additional maybe 12,000 to be paid, so it's like $12,000. You know, and given, I'll throw it out there, I feel like our tax cap on a $1.9 million, I'm going around that budget, is like $40,000. So-
Which is the amount for the trash pickup.
Right,
So-
well, and we're still working through that.
Right.
That contract, so we'll see. So I suspect what's going to happen when you guys present your budget, you know, if you stay within the tax cap, you know, if you're required to go along, but if you stay in the tax cap, there will be a number of motions made to increase certain lines because in order to fund it.
So are we stuck with the trash
Right.
thing, or is
What
there?
do you mean, stuff with the trash?
So
We're
that-
waiting for Casella to come back. No, they've been very good with working with us, with knowing that what we're kind of, you know, stuck.
It's
We're
not
doing
much,
the rock and
1%.
And they continue to service the town without
All
contract.
lines up,
And they're, you know,
That
they,
1%
they're only
is
charging us
right.
based on the selling contract, I think, through July. But still kind of negotiating that and working through it. But I simply think that Tony has been very, very good to work with. You know, he understands, you know,
We don't have a lot of options.
no, we don't.
There's no other trash company.
There's, I think when I talked to, I think I talked to like a future recycling guy a couple months ago, there's only like three in our area. So there's Casella, Waste Management, and then a company that's up in Maine. And I don't recall off the but we did reach out to Waste Management, we never got anything back from them. So, obviously, limits our options. Yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I did not see their proposal from them, so. But I said, like, Casella's been very.
No, is Casella just giving us like one-off, are they?
No, they're doing, we talked about a number of different options, you know, so, because, you know, it's like if you continue with what we have, which is pickup, you know, where you have a guy on the truck or whatever, you know, somebody actually picking up the garbage versus, that's one option, which is the status quo. Then there's the option of where we actually have like a 95 or maybe a 65 size garbage barrels, where
The
the truck can actually pick it up, dump it and everything like that. That's, you know, that's another cost, you know, that's a separate cost, you know, I mean, that's a different bill or whatever. So he's given us the different options, I mean, see what we,
And that would require,
what's gonna be most beneficial for the town.
Yeah.
for the second, it would require one to replace the trash cans.
Right, but the part of that contract would be is they would supply the town with it. You know, of course, that's embedded in the cost. Right. And, but, again, I think that eliminates just open trash on the end of the driveways. And it becomes, and they're actually kind of leaning more towards that because, you know, basically, like he said, you know, to get help, like he says, like it's different. You know, 5 years ago, you could get a guy to be on the back of the truck paying like $23 an hour. He says, now you can't get a guy to be on the back of the truck for under $30. So, where you can make it a little bit more handful or.
I'm sure it lowers the cost for them for workers' comp.
So, but yeah, so, I mean, but again, he's been giving us the options to say, okay, for the end of through the scheme, we are trying to move to a contract that goes from January to December, because our contract before was going from like July to June, which is really not good for us because we are January to December, so, yeah. So that's still TBD.
Oh, conservation, conservation, yes.
Kate's
Sure.
turn.
Do you want furnishing?
What? I didn't make enough copies, I thought there were 3 on the floor. Didn't know you guys.
You trying to conserve, Kate?
They volunteered to share, and I know Danielle does not share. And you're gonna love the budget because it's, I managed to move some money around for increased costs. So it's the exact same, and I deleted a little bit from another line. And,
But thank you for doing that. Yeah,
well,
that
I'm
helps.
trying to make your job easier.
Right, we appreciate that.
So did you increase your budget at all?
No, she went down.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't have.
Her budget was 2,852, and she decreased to 2,652, so $200. And where did you move that from?
Well, anyway, and because obviously you all realize that I haven't got all my invoices yet, and we do have some training seminars coming up. Yeah, so it's $60 a training session now instead of 50, so it's $120 in case someone else wants to go. And I was the other thing. Oh, the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions increased their annual membership, and that one's key, and that one went up to $250. I unwisely gave up all my copies.
I know. So actually, so what she had for
I'm running off my memory.
conservation expense?
26.
No, I want the first line. It's
Oh,
500.
550.
Oh, so you don't have to have
Yeah.
workshops,
120.
reference material,
100.
legal?
380,
That's the lake assessment program?
750. And we expended all but $40 of that, and the Sunrise Lake Watershed Advisory Committee, 750.
Oh, so, yeah.
And those, when, this is like the second year for the Sunrise Lake Advisory Committee, so really, we were working, when we started with the 840, that was a ballpark figure, so we kind of honed it down to the 750.
Good job.
Thank you.
So Kate, can we look into, so with the watershed committee and everything, with the grants that we can potentially have, do you think that they can maybe add water testing and stuff?
No,
They cannot?
they do water testing.
They did
We have increased our water testing, and that has helped us
get more?
get future grants,
Okay.
because we're saying this is what the town is willing to provide.
Okay.
But, I mean, they do, out of that grant, they do additional eco testing. We don't want to lose that line, because,
No, we don't,
yeah.
especially with the test results that we've been getting.
It's got to do with water, Kate's on it, trust me.
That's right. You just asked me.
Just as an FYI, I will touch base with Bonnie, well, I guess maybe regarding like the tax cut to town court. Because this would be-
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Did we get anything from the assessment?
I did, I sent it to Sierra.
Oh,
Oh, she didn't send that one
But,
out.
yeah, well, I think if you want to run it by you first.
Did we get
So-
anything from code enforcement?
No. I have a question. So the money that comes in for code enforcement, for like permits and stuff like that, and I asked this to you before, I talked to you about it before, and said, like, we have the revolving fund for the ambulance. Is there a, could we do something, could the town do something like that to help offset the costs of?
it comes in as a revenue, it's just you don't see it in here.
Right.
There is, you know, because when we did we just did the, I think it's the NS one, which is your estimated revenues, and, you know, part of that is you put in your building, your permits and fees and stuff like that. So it's just, it's no different than, like, all the revenue we get for taxes is offsets like salaries and all of this stuff, so it's just another expense. It's just, we are getting revenue, we just don't see, we don't look at it and say, because we don't necessarily do that with the ambulance, we know that we can pull from that, but we don't charge that, we just like transfer the money out, as payroll or fee, whatever. But, I mean, it could be noted to say, yes, we brought in this much revenue, and we're offsetting, you know, that is offsetted by what we pay.
I was just wondering if that revenue could, instead of directly hitting the taxpayer with the budget, if that revenue could be used to offset instead of having it in the budget, if that makes any sense.
And you're familiar with the, how the state accounting works? I mean, it's showing, you know, I mean, you gotta show it as an expense, you
Yeah.
can't out, and you gotta show, you know, you show your revenue. It's just whatever you guys look at. So you really should be looking at, you know, the income. When you're looking at all of this as well, you should be looking at the income, just kind of see what the offset is.
Do we have any kind of a cap on building?
So that would be a growth management ordinance. We've talked about it a lot. There, it's not a just straightforward thing.
Currently, no.
So no, we don't.
I didn't think so.
It's, yeah,
I think it's something we need to look into, because there's so many homes going up,
there
so many
is.
lots being sold,
It's
kind of scary to think about.
I know. It's something
We're
to.
looking into it.
We are, fortunately and unfortunately, with Blair helping us, it's been great for me because I'm brand new. I'm in the same boat as Jim, which is kind of scary that we're hoping to like what, you know. But
Is that boat leaking?
yeah,
Well, I'm not that new, I'm just not that smart.
well, kind of. But anyway, so right now he's focusing on all of the state law changes with us. He knows that like, the growth management one is one that we really want to work on. We have another ordinance for manufactured housing developments, also with trailer parks.
Can a growth management ordinance be done where we had one in 2021, where they limited the permits? I thought they only allowed you a certain.
No, we just wanted to be
Yeah,
So
so,
you don't think it would affect the growth management ordinance?
yeah, so it's not as easy as everybody would like it to
Oh,
be.
no, I
But yeah, it's
know
one of
that,
those things
but-
that's on
But it's on the agenda.
it's on the agenda
Okay.
to deal with, unfortunately.
That's what I want to know, that it's being looked into and
Yeah.
thought about.
I think we
because-
talked about it at every meeting, because it's a huge worry for us.
Well, yeah, with all these lots being sold, hundreds of acres and stuff, I mean, and if the state did cut it down to 2 acres versus the 5, I mean, where's that gonna put us?
And you're not the first to mention it, Bonnie. I've
Oh,
heard
I'm
it
sure.
multiple meetings.
I'm
So
sure.
I think we talk about it at every meeting if it's brought up.
Well, it's not out of control.
Right,
Unfortunately, the state's overstepping on,
I mean,
typical.
you're just gonna have to try to, work with it as best you can. It's a,
we haven't heard anything from welfare yet, have we?
I haven't heard
We haven't
anything.
heard. So. So I think we can go any further. Annual meeting time is yep, that's not, it's, I think it's this one. I think it's the other, that first one, I don't think this is us, this is,
That's the school.
oh, this is a school,
Yeah.
traditional school.
Yes, we want to make sure you're aware of your dates, so you make sure you get back into those for your public hearings and
Mhm.
in your petition, warrant articles, and, well, not you, but your budget. Just provide it to us, because I think basically based off the last day that you can provide it to the Board of Selectmen, we have like 2 days to get it in the DRA. If we wait till the last day, we have 2 days to turn around and get it DRA for them to approve it, and then for us to get it posted, because it has to be posted like that following Monday.
Yeah,
So it's, yeah. So
It's a
those
quick
are
turnaround.
very fun.
I think like November, our November meeting should be like the hard stop of everybody having their numbers
yeah.
and.
Well, we need to figure out when to do our public hearing. I mean, not our public hearing, our department head meeting. I mean, they kind of did that tonight, but we usually have a department meeting with the select board and us and the
school board?
department head, so. No, with the town department heads. We usually do the select board, the budget committee, and then have each department head come in and present their budget, so we can ask questions and whatever. Kind of like tonight, only a little more official.
Right, well.
We don't usually
we'll
get
have
this.
More solid numbers for a couple of.
I think in the past, we have done this on at BOS combined, we combined. with
yeah.
BOS meeting. So.
BOS or budget?
We can talk about this coming Monday night and say, we want to do November 10th to have the meetings with, combined with the budget committee, and to have the department heads come in on November 10th. Because then you guys meet November 17th, following. Just a thought. I'll put it on the
Yeah.
meeting, I'll certainly.
What's the law requirement? Budget committee meetings as far as, there is anything governing, because this is how we've done it, right? And I'm going to hear, and then because the fire chief didn't come up. No, the police chief didn't come.
They're not required.
They're not
It's just-
required.
They give you a budget, and that's what, it's just,
But they always have.
it's their option to justify their numbers.
Right.
To explain their numbers and to say, this is what we're asking, and this is why we're asking for. And it's been very beneficial, to put it back when I was on the budget committee, to do it
Yes.
So then it's not like the department head needs to voice something, so what's like, maybe the budget committee.
Oh, it's much
There are
better.
things that get lost in translation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then it's just like,
It's much better to do it all together.
so, yeah, I think it's worked out.
It was nice to have this tonight. I appreciate people coming tonight and presenting it because it gives us a little breakdown of it ahead of time.
Yeah, actually, I do have a question regarding school, because the school budget is sooner. When there is going to be petition warrant articles for the school, when would they be due? And you won't know, you have to ask Kathy about that, because I can tell you, like, for the town budget, it is February 3rd, but it'd be sooner for you because it's going to be.
I feel like January, but I don't.
No, it is, it's got to be January, because that's when you have to have the numbers ready, you have to have them ready like 30 days or close to it before.
This is
So it's
how
gonna
it's
be close
working.
to, so your petition warrant articles will probably be beginning of January as well, but if that would
The
be.
school is on the
SB2.
timeline, not the traditional, right?
No, well, they are traditional SB, they're traditional SB2.
So is this timeline correct that's in our agenda? Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw that timeline, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I don't
Oh, it's
know.
March schools, so,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it says it on here. I mean,
But it says traditional annual.
Last day for the petition warrant articles is Monday, February 9th.
It's not ours.
I was gonna say that.
Because we usually hold our deliberative in February.
Right. Oh, because this is a traditional meeting, so you don't have a traditional meeting
Yeah, we
for
don't.
school, you have SB2, which is.
Okay,
Poor Robin.
I got it backwards.
They're fine, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Come on, Robin. So this is what you won't follow for school.
Yeah, this is traditional, yeah. So the school's SB2 and the town is traditional.
Yes.
Well, you
The
learn
school,
something every
the school,
night.
you vote on everything at the ballot.
Okay.
The town, the only thing you vote at the ballot for is elected positions and petition warrant articles,
Oh.
ordinances, and everything is voted on at town meeting for the budget.
Yeah, so we're reversed, so we have our deliberative and the.
It's opposite, it's funky. But that calendar that Barbara gave me back, that's kind of like revising following the next couple of months anyway.
Yep.
Is the school one on the NHMA site?
I don't know, I've never found it up, no, I think that's off of the, I don't know, so it says Department of Revenue Administration on this one that, well, I don't know. I don't know, because Kathy's always told me when she needed the budget for, and so we just always make sure it was, had the public hearing on it, and the budget's on it, and it's usually the beginning of January. So, it's usually when we're trying to get signatures.
Oh.
We are moving our timeline up on our.
Yeah, so that's good.
Never enough time.
Yeah, they're really
I never got
Because you're dealing around the holidays, it makes it very.
And weather.
To get,
And weather.
that's always good.
Well, I remember a few years
Yes.
ago, we ended up having to have our hearing on, what was it, Saturday or a Sunday? It was like last minute and in the garage
Oh, yeah.
after
Oh,
a
yeah.
big snowstorm.
Oh,
Wow.
Discussion.
Number 10 on your agenda, it says next meeting, it's Monday, September 15th, that's actually tonight. So the next meeting is actually October 20th,
Somebody needs a vacation.
right?
I know she's nice at it.
So on the agenda, the rules of procedure, is that something?
We can table that for,
Yeah, we'll table it.
yeah, table it
Yeah,
for,
we're just gonna table the rules of procedures, 'cause-
Yeah, and because, you're the one who did that.
And there's-
member comment, we've never had that before.
Member comment?
Yeah.
Anybody got comment?
Yeah, we have one more seat open if anybody wants to join
One
us.
more
Yes,
seat
we
open,
do
yeah.
need to get that seat filled.
Your guest, Danielle? You had someone for last.
No, yeah, no, she is going to college.
People that put their names on the ballot. I think most of the people write.
There was nobody on the ballot for
people that
start
are
for a
writing
budget.
Yeah, but that was Kate.
Yes.
Was our-
Yeah, we're gonna write you on it, Kate.
For everything.
I know.
That's my problem.
He would get the last speech.
Does anybody have comments?
Any more comments?
Public comments?
Any public,
Anybody?
public comments? Jonathan, Jim, anything?
Jim,
No? Any more comments before we adjourn?
I make,
Well done.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at
I'll second.
8:45.
8:45.